What's up, everybody? Welcome to LaughNapkin. Today I'll be reading two stories from r/ProRevenge, and our first story is called I Smashed My Own PC to Teach My Cousin a Lesson. Then after that we have Sell Beer to My Kid, Will Ya? So let's just jump right into it. I smashed my own PC to teach my cousin a lesson. To explain things a bit, I live in Korea, where studying and getting into college is a huge deal. Our college also starts at March, unlike the United States. This event happened in January. Cast: aunt, cousins, me, my mom. About 2 years ago, when I was in the 11th grade, my brother, who is 4 years older than me, gave me his PC that was bought when I was in 10th grade. It had maxed out specs, including 2 state-of-the-art graphics card and a killer CPU capable of running most games for the next 4 years or so. However, in Korea, it is almost a federal crime to do anything other than studying when you're in high school, so my parents didn't like that I got a sweet computer in my second year of high school. However, since I was an obedient little chicken, I never downloaded any games and promised to keep it that way until I got into college. That same year at Chuseok, which is a national holiday held in October, my piece of crap cousins, there were 2, one was the same age as me and the other one was 5 years younger, come to our house since it's a family gathering and my father is the eldest son. They were known to throw fits when they didn't get their way and had a history of breaking glassware and other things in our house which they never paid for. I was, and still am, an introvert, so I just said hello to my family, ate lunch, and went straight to my room to sleep. I made sure to lock my bedroom door since my room was filled with Legos, snacks, and other things like the PC that I didn't want my cousins to lay their grubby little hands on. After about an hour after I fell asleep, I heard laughing noises and immediately felt the rage building up under my skin. It was the cousins, and they managed to pick the lock on my door using chopsticks. I don't know how I managed to stay asleep, but apparently they turned on my PC, downloaded a crapload of games I never play, and was cranking up the volume to 80%. I sprung out of my bed and yelled, "What the hell are you doing in my room? I made sure to lock it." But they replied with a smug grin that makes me want to punch a wall just thinking about it. "Well, you should have locked it up good. Too easy for me." And just kept on playing. I was livid, but I didn't want to cause a scene, so I told them to just play games and don't download weird stuff that screams that they're a virus. Fortunately, they just stuck to their games. However, that was not all. When it was time for them to go, they went to their mom, my aunt, and whispered something into her ears while maintaining eye contact with me. I knew that crap was about to hit the fan. And of course, the following conversation took place. Aunt: "How old are you, OP?" Me: "You're my aunt. I think you're supposed to know." Mom: "He's in the 11th grade." Aunt: "So, you studying hard?" She already knew the answer to that, since I was owning her son in terms of academic achievement. Me: "Yeah." Aunt: "So, you wouldn't have time to play with your computer then?" Ah, crap. Here we go. Me: "Just because I'm not playing games on it doesn't mean I'm not using it. I use it to download PDFs of problems and do homework." She just flat out ignores me. Aunt: "Well, since you're not using it, can you just give us your computer? Cousins here really enjoyed it since our computer is crap." And before I let out a single word, my mother exclaimed, "Mom, yes, you can." I know most of you guys would think this is absolute BS on my mother's part, but my mom still thought that that computer was bringing my grades down. Although I stayed among the top 1% in my school all along, and college is a big thing here in Korea. However, despite understanding why my mother wanted to get rid of the PC so bad, I wasn't having it. I told that family to get out of our house, and I will do whatever I want with my PC. However, to my horror, when I came back from the library after studying, I noticed that my PC was gone, replaced by an envelope with about $100 on my desk. I screamed at my mother for letting her take it, and we pretty much stopped conversation for about a month, which was easy to do since I go to school at 7 a.m. and come back home at 2 a.m. After about a month, I still didn't forgive her for that, but I was too busy with my studying to care. After a year, in December of 2018, I admitted into one of the most prestigious engineering universities in Korea, and my parents officially didn't give a crap what I did as long as it was legal and sensible until March of the following year, when school started. This also meant that I could play whatever games I wanted, whenever I wanted. I got plenty of money from my other family members as congrats, but not the aunts. Surprise, surprise, about $3,000. I planned to buy a new PC when I saw a Facebook post made by the cousin who was the same age as me playing games on my stolen PC. It was already too late to care, and since I already decided to get a new one, I almost shrugged it off. Almost. Until a brilliant scheme popped into my head. I went to my mother, phone on voice recording, to ask her to get my PC from them so I could use it, since I got into college. However, my mom said that we already gave it to them, and starting conflicts with the family members can be a real pain in the butt. This was, of course, the answer that I wanted, since I could clearly state in my recording that they took my PC against my will and practically stole it. My mother admitted to all of the above, unaware I was recording. Then I started to execute my revenge. Since both my aunts and my house had senior high school students in their house, we didn't meet in 2018. However, during Christmas, we decided to have a get-together in our aunt's house, since Chuseok and Lunar New Year was held at our house. The opportunity was too good to pass. My father was planning to go screen golfing with the other men of the family, which meant that he was bringing his golf clubs with him. I snuck in my aluminum baseball bat in his golf bag a day before going to my aunt's house. Furthermore, I went to my bank to withdraw $100 in coins and put it in a carry-on luggage case. I put everything in the trunk and we left from my aunt's house. After we arrived, we ate dinner and hung out at aunt's house. When no one was suspecting, I went into my cousin's room and my PC was there. My revenge was to smash it to bits and pieces with my baseball bat and lay it all out on my cousin's bedroom floor just to screw with him. However, a better idea popped into my head. Since cousin's room was on the second floor, and he was out in the gravel yard playing with his little brother, I decided to just chuck it out his bedroom window with all my strength. I opened his window, disconnected all the wires, and waited for him to see what was about to happen. After about 30 seconds after opening the window, we made eye contact. He saw the PC in my hands, and he just froze. I did not. I yelled, "Screw you and screw this PC," and threw it out the window. The sound was magnificent. Everyone went out to see what the sound was, and cousin was yelling that he'll kill me. My aunt screamed, and so did my cousin's brother. It was a crap show. I came down to see the whole aunt's family members red with rage, except for aunt's husband, my uncle, who was too drunk to understand what was happening, and started screaming obscenities at me. I didn't listen to any of the insults, nor did I care what they said about me. I just wanted to hear one thing, and it soon came out of my aunt's mouth. "We paid you. Why would you do this? This is vandalism." I smiled and sent my cousins and my aunt the recording that they took it against my will, and went straight to our family car to take out the carry-on luggage case with $100 in coins and poured it onto their living room floor. "Here's your money. Good luck finding a PC with that." And after that, I left. I hopped onto the subway and went straight home, ignoring all the text messages and phone calls. After my mom came home, she told me that because of me, we would never see them again, and it was all my fault. I didn't care. However, what surprised me was my father's reaction. After the rant from my mother, my dad silently came into my room and said, "Good job." I didn't know it then, but my uncle was also a piece of crap when my father was a kid. And when my grandmother was dying, the only thing he cared about was how much money was going to him. I guess douchebaggery is a genetic trait. My father also said he's a plastic surgeon. He could have bought them a PC of their own, but he didn't because he's a cheapskate. After that, I haven't seen the uncle since, but we still see my other uncles who are way nicer than cousin's father. The reason I'm posting this now is because I just learned that the university that cousin attends has just filed for bankruptcy for corruption and unpaid debts. Karma's a horrible person. Sell beer to my kid, will ya? So we all know that sometimes revenge is a dish best served cold, and this story is an old family legend. My grandmother was a pro at the long game, and this was one of her best acts. Back in the 70s, there was a little pizza shop around the corner from their house that she discovered was selling beer to my 15-year-old uncle. She marched right into that store during the busiest time on a Saturday night and yelled at the owner that stuff needed to stop now. The idiot waved her off and said it was his business and he could do whatever he wanted. He practically shoved her out of the front door and told her not to come back. My grandmother told him if he ever sold beer to my uncle again, it would be the end of his days in that neighborhood. Remember, this was the 70s. The police weren't really enforcing liquor laws as stringently as they are now, especially when it came to corner pizza shops and one woman's allegations that their 15-year-old son was getting beer legally. Fast forward about 1 month, and what does my grandmother find under my uncle's bed? Beer, and she knows where he got it. She confronts him, and just like before, he says the pizza guy had been selling it to him and all the neighborhood kids. My grandmother asked some other mothers if they have found their kids with beer, and sure enough, yep, it's a thing. Now, you might be thinking, so what? A couple of teenagers with beer? Big deal, we all did that. Except this guy was making a killing selling beer to the neighborhood kids. According to my uncle, he was selling to kids as young as 8. This he confirmed to me when he was an adult, and even sold it to them out of the back door after hours, which is really illegal since it breaks major liquor laws to do that. My grandfather then went to the cops and they played the "we'll take a report and look into it" type of stance with him. Not to fear, my grandmother was gonna make good on her threat. I should probably mention that this whole thing went down in August. My grandmother threatened my uncle with life imprisonment if he ever bought beer there again, and to completely stay out of that shop because bad things were gonna happen. August comes and goes, and so does September, October, November, and the entire winter and spring. Like I said, my grandmother liked to play the long game. So July rolls around, and completely out of the blue, a municipal snowplow rolls down the street at midnight and right into the front of this guy's shop, backing up and smashing into it again, and once more for good measure. It then pulls back and rolls down the street like nothing happened, never to be seen again. The whole thing was witnessed by a couple of neighbors sitting on their front steps trying to beat the heat that night. They called the cops, and no one could believe what they were looking at and that there was a snowplow out in July. Clearly, someone was mistaken. The mothers of the neighborhood knew there was no mistake. They knew what went down, and it was a silent secret among them. No one spoke of it. No one acknowledged it, and no one cared. My family knew the real story. My grandmother knew someone who needed money, so she paid him to help. The guy had a buddy who had access to the snowplows for the county. The rest was history. Even with all the money the pizza shop guy made selling beers to minors, he didn't have adequate business insurance to rebuild. Within days, he was closed for good. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed making it. Don't forget to tell me what you think about these stories and submit your own story in the comment section below. See you guys in the next video.